All right, I just got done watching the Fox News Google debate online, the one Trump wasn't at. And here are four statements that jumped out at me. Now, I'm not speaking as a Republican or a Democrat. I'm speaking as a follower of Jesus. And this is just a challenge for you to zoom out and maybe talk about this biblically. So here was the first statement. Faith will influence everything I do. I think maybe it was Rubio that said this as a Christian, but isn't this really true for everyone? That our faith or our ideology, what we really believe at the root, is obviously always going to affect everything we do. So that's interesting. The second statement was about having the religious liberty to follow our hearts. And that one, of course, always gets big applause in the U.S. because, I mean, really, after all, if you think about it, following our hearts is kind of the default American religion, right? I mean, nobody's going to fault you for saying, hey, I want to follow my heart. I want to do what I feel is right. And I guess that's good, but it also could be bad. Because another statement that came out was that liberty itself requires virtue. And the only restraint required, I think, was the comment, I think it was Rand Paul, the only restraint required in a great society is self-restraint. In other words, if we don't know right and wrong, then we're in trouble, as a society, as a people. But I guess my question then is whose heart gets to decide what's virtuous? Whose heart gets to decide what's right and what's wrong? And then the last statement that jumped out at me is, let's make America great again. And that, of course, is a political thing to say. But really the question is, well, what does it even mean? For a Republican, what does that mean? For a Democrat, what does that mean? If you're a follower of Jesus, what does it mean to make America great again? When was America last great? What does it mean to be great? That's a great question really for you, for your families to debate and talk about. Jesus, I'll leave with this. Jesus would probably answer it like this, because some teachers and Pharisees came up to him 2,000 years ago and said, what's the greatest commandment? It was kind of a political question because they were asking about the law. So what's the greatest legislation in all of the law? And Jesus answered, he said, you must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And a second is equally important. Love your neighbor as yourself. So Jesus, I know if Jesus was on that stage, Jesus would have been talking about having the proper priority, be in proper relationship with God, and then be in proper relationship with people. And then it's all based on love within the proper boundaries that God defines.